Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining us here on 9 News Watch for a detailed look at your Colorado weather forecast. I'm meteorologist Chris Bianchi, and we do have obviously a lot of fresh snow on the ground. That is great news, and that is continuing to chip away at our drought. I'll have more details on that here in just a second, but a couple of the kind of prime takeaways here in terms of those snowfall amounts. This did end up, for most of us, right around kind of 4 to 7 inches worth of snow in the immediate Denver area. You head just to the west into the foothills. We were close to about 6 to about 12 inches for us as you get on up into places like Genesee, Boulder, Ken Carroll. That's where you did see some of those higher end totals, Golden included within that as well. But here in Denver, we officially picked up 5 inches of snow, and that means that so far this month, we're at 11.5 inches of month-to-date snowfall. And by the way, since the start of the year, we are now at over 2 feet worth of snowfall. We're at 24.9 inches since the start of the year. That is the most season or year-to-date snowfall in Denver since 1965. So it's been just nonstop snow. By the way, going back to the Marshall Fire, of course, back on December the 30th, since then we picked up over 29 inches worth of snowfall. We're more than double our precipitation average since that time period. So we've just had a boom of snow, a boom of precipitation in the last little while. It's starting to make a difference in our drought, at least in the immediate Denver area. One kind of issue we'll get into later on today is that the mountains have been mostly left alone by the snow, which is not great news. But here in Denver, we went from extreme drought down to severe drought last week, and now we're down to moderate drought. And by the way, this update does not include today's snow or the snow we picked up last night. So this moderate drought improvement, again, doesn't even include what we saw overnight. So we are really starting to put a dent into some of those drought conditions here on the Eastern Plains. Fantastic news, Mother Nature. If you are watching, keep it coming. And it sounds like next week we will be looking at more in the way of snow, but could be accompanied by much colder temperatures than what we're dealing with right now. It does look winter-like out there on this beautiful Thursday morning. Looking across the Mile High City, nothing but blue, sunny skies. A little bit of cloud cover off in the distance into the foothills, but that should dissipate here over the course of the next couple of hours. So sun's out, guns out here as we get later on through today. And then by tomorrow and your Friday, we are going to be looking at very, very warm temperatures for this time of year, with highs spiking probably here, folks, into the 50s, if not the low 60s, especially by Sunday. So very warm weekend ahead, and it continues this pattern of basically snow, warm, snow, warm. That's been, again, this trend that we've been dealing with for the last little while, and that does continue as we get through the upcoming weekend. And guess what? Next week we're going to be looking at more snow yet again. So as I mentioned, the snow is done for us. In fact, basically the cloud cover statewide is done through the upcoming weekend. So we've got a prolonged dry period, and that will eventually translate to warmer temperatures. But for now, not exactly warm, with those temps stuck in the 20s and 30s on the Eastern Plains, teens and 20s as you get on up into the mountains, and that is mostly due to that fresh snowpack. And a closer look in here at the metro area, 23 downtown, 20 out at the airport. And in the foothills, actually a little bit warmer at 27 in Boulder, but as you get into the mountains, Walden and Kremling are typical cold spots, single digits and teens up that way. All right, looking ahead, we have a lot of, well, different weather coming up here as we head over the next little while as we take a look at that 7-day forecast. Temperatures into the 50s for the upcoming weekend, near 60 degrees, as I mentioned, both days, early to middle part of next week. It looks like at this point, a couple of takeaways. First one is it's going to be a pretty cold snow event starting Monday night and then lasting through Tuesday into Wednesday. At this point, it looks to be a prolonged snow event. That would be the kind of big takeaway. It looks like it's going to snow from Monday night through Wednesday morning. So again, this could be a lengthy snow event and a cold one. So again, just prepare for more winter-like weather as we get to the early to mid part of next week. We'll get an Arctic blast, and with it, we could be talking about a snow shovel amount of snowfall. It doesn't look like, again, it's going to be necessarily a huge snow event. It continues our trend here, folks. We've just been getting these middling snow events for the last few weeks. We haven't had, for example, a foot plus worth of snowfall here in Denver, but we haven't had a whole lot of 1 or 2 inch snow events. We've had these kind of 3 to 6, 4 to 8 inch snow events basically nonstop since the start of the year. In fact, I was just counting short while ago, we're up to 8 of those. 8 individual 3-inch plus snow events since the start of the year. So it's been, again, snow 60 degrees, snow 60 degrees, snow 60 degrees since the start of the year. And that trend continues. I think it's awesome, personally. Danielle and I, my colleague meteorologist, what's not to love, right? It's not like I grew up on the East Coast and you get these snow events and it just sticks around and turns all brown and gross and it's gray. And here in Denver, you get the snow, then you get the sun, then you get the warmth, and then it goes away. Unless you got those north-facing shadows, that's a different story. But you know what I'm talking about there. But for the most part, it's been just, I don't know, pretty nice, pleasant pattern. Next week, all right, probably a little bit colder than what we would like, but at least we're going to melt off last night's snow through this upcoming weekend before we get more snow again early next week. We'll have continued updates for you. Meteorologist Danielle Graham will have an update at 12:30 with another detailed look on that Colorado weather forecast. And we'll, of course, have more updates coming up at 9 News at 3 o'clock, which bumped up a little bit because of the Olympics, 3, 4, and 5, and also at 9 and 10 tonight as well. Have a great rest of your day, and thanks for joining us here on 9 News Watch.